Okay, I thought I'd make another video here real quick. Pardon the mess here around the truck, but I ain't had the time to do a whole lot. I've been working on the house quite a bit, so that, and I'm building another truck just like this one, only two-wheel drive small block S10 for my son. So right now I don't have a lot of time to put toward this one. I'll work more on this toward, you know, get closer to Christmas, first of the year. I have more time. But there's the headers. Those are Patriot clippster brand headers for 67, I think the 80-81 Camaro. Now I'm using the transdapt 9906 engine side mounts and a 2.8 frame mount in the stock location. Now this is a big block, as you can tell by the valve cover, so there ain't no disputing that. Okay, get down there. There's the motor mount, engine mount. Let me correct myself. Okay, and see that's what I'm using. The engine is sitting where it needs to be, angle wise, front to back. Now, short water pump, 2-groove pulley, 19-inch fan. The fan is 4.5, almost 5 inches from the radiator. Radiator is a 4-core. Okay, the radiator, the core itself is 28 3/8 wide by 19 inches tall. It is the biggest radiator offered for a big block in a 1-ton truck. So it will cool the big block just fine. The fan shroud is off a 71 Chevy K10. All I did was take the grinder, knock the ears off. I'm going to use a little body filler and fill that in, smooth it up, touch the paint up on it. But as you can see, the fan is right at the edge of the shroud like it should be. Let me get this rag out of the way. See, now I see I'm bullshitting on that. It's a Tough Stuff chrome, short, high flow water pump. 2-row balancer pulley, 2-row water pump pulley. The only spacer I got in there is I took a big 3/4 inch flat washer, like fender washer. It's oversized. I drilled holes in it for the bolts to go through it into the water pump, and that's what's in there. It's like probably an 1/8 inch is all I did, was spaced it out enough so the fan blades would not hit the crank pulley, and it spaced it about 1/4 inch off the crank pulley. So they weren't hitting to begin with, but it was just too close for me, so I wanted a little bit more room. The alternator will mount over here like it should, using stock big block short pump pulley brackets. The power steering pump is going to be a Saginaw Type 2 with just a 6-inch pulley on it. Yeah, I think the one I'm getting is it's coming from Summit. I can't remember the brand, but it's like $169. You can get one with a plastic pulley, but no, I wouldn't go that route. On a lot of the GM cars that we've owned, Monte Carlos and stuff, I've had to replace that pressed-on Bakelite plastic pulley. Pump's still good. The pulley just come off of where it's splined onto the metal hub. So cheap shit, what do you expect? But like I said, you can see, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a 4-core radiator, trust me. There is the driver's side mount. You gotta excuse, the truck's got a year's worth of dust on it. And I see my son touched the side of the motor up where he scratched it up, putting the header down in there. On this side, you do have to do a little modification. Right behind the engine mount on the engine cross member, you need to cut back about 1.5 inches and just cut that out. And what I did is I cut it out, and I'm gonna put a piece of plate in there at an angle, because you don't have to cut it all the way to the bottom. Just go in about 1.5 inches and down about 1.5 to 2 inches, and take that corner out and then you can cut a piece of plate. It'll lay in there at an angle flush, and you can weld it back in, and you're done. And the driver's side header will clear perfectly without any issues. And then there's your big block in your S10, and you don't have to go to Lemons or Stahl or someone like that and pay big money for those headers that are fender well exit only. They're monster size, like 2-inch tubes. And if you're just doing a mild engine like this, you don't need those big monster ass performance headers. We've done this once before. I never did the header trick. We used manifolds and electric fans, and I'll tell you now, I haven't found an electric fan that'll move enough air through that radiator to keep this motor cool on a 100-degree day. That 19-inch derail will move enough air. I know it will, because I run the same radiator in a small block truck, just like I got it now, only it was a long water pump because that small block's a shorter engine. And I could let the truck idle 102 degrees out, idle with the air on, sitting in the driveway, and it'd sit there and run 180 degrees all day long. So, but yeah, then I'll get in there and touch the paint up on the block. I'm just anal about that. But when you're working at close quarters and you got a 15-year-old boy helping you, that means really well. Kid's a good kid. And he works hard and he learns and he listens, but he got butterfingers sometimes. Different valve, tall valve covers, brake booster, plenty of clearance because the motor's going to torque from the other side. But I ain't got that other header in there to show you, but it goes right in, bolts right up, just like this one does. They're both inside the frame rail. They don't hang down too far or anything like that. You put your collector on, put a 45-degree elbow on each one of them, and shoot your exhaust straight back, and you're done. Again, in the other video, you can see how far I ended up cutting. There's the headlight. Plasma cutter, man, just whacked it out. Actually, my son cut this one out, but he didn't do bad. He's a little shaky-handed, but nobody's going to see that after I put the trim over it anyway. This has all got to come back out to hook the wiring up for the headlights and stuff, so. Tranny cooler, old hood scoop I cut down and used just to kind of box it in. Flex fan on it, or electric fan, and there's two coolers stacked together. Sway bar, two-wheel drive sway bar. I made the end-link mounts off the solid front axle. No problem, no interference. I've already drove the truck with a small block. It drives fine. But yeah, it says nosy in that fender for a reason, because every time I had it out, everybody's looking up under the fender well. They just got to see what's in it. The pool balls are my daughter's idea. Drag link, run to the driver's side. Level. No, it don't interfere with the sway bar. When the suspension cycles, they both move up. They stay a steady. I put a like memory foam in between those and cycled the suspension and watched it. They never touch. So, but that's all there is to it. As I get the rest of the stuff done, I'll make another video. I've got the intake, distributor plug, all the rest of the stuff for the motor I got in boxes sitting around here. Like I said, I had a big order from Summit come in last week. I just, like I said, working on the house with the wife. I've laid so much tile in the last week, I don't even want to look at another piece of ceramic tile. I've mixed so much grout, my hands are raw from it. So between mortar and grout, and that's what's going on with this truck. I will get a video put up of my son's truck right now. We're getting ready to set the engine in it, and it's actually the 350 that come out of this that a guy had rebuilt, but I think it was his first attempt at doing an engine, and he didn't file fit his rings, and all the valves except one intake valve was sucking oil past the guides. So I sent it up to the machine shop. We went ahead and punched it from 40 to 60, put new pistons, new set of total seal rings in it, got the right grit and the hone pattern for the rings, put new rods and mains. I had them put it all back together, so, and had him balance everything this time while it was up there. So, and it's going with just a mild mild cam in it. It's going in my son's S10. So then when I get done with these, my daughter, who is 14, she wants an S10 also, and she wants one that's purple and black. So purple, black, and grab her green. So anyway, when I get it all done, I'll get, like I said, the video, and when we start to put the air conditioning on it, which the AC compressor is going to sit right over here. I've already got the brackets. I've got a split condenser to go up here on the radiator that'll just barely slide in behind the grill. It's all from, I think it's either Classic Industries or Vintage Air. I can't remember. It's in there in the damn box. But the whole kit, compressor, brackets, everything, was like $960 plus tax. So that wasn't bad. And it's an under dash unit, and it's heat and AC. So, but that's what's going on. Other than that, nothing else. I'll make another video. If anybody on YouTube that sees this and they want to do a big block in an S10, you don't have to cut the firewall up. You don't have to hack the frame up or anything else. You don't have to run a full-size truck frame and cut it down and try to fit the S10 body to it. That is a bitch. We've done that twice. It's harder to put the damn steering shaft together than it is to do anything going from over here to the outside of the frame on a full-size truck chassis. Right there's my steering shaft. 1989 Jeep Comanche pickup, the small pickup like an S10. Pull it out of the truck, separate it, cut 2 inches off the solid 3/4 double D part, slide it back together and put it in. 3/4 30 spline down here on this end. 1 inch double D up there, so it'll slide right over the S10 column, and you can slide it all the way up on there, not just to the end. Clamp it, and if you're worried about that coming loose up here, you could drill a hole in it and beat you like a 1/4 inch roll pin, or put a 1/4 inch grade 8 bolt or something if you're worried about it slipping off. If you're real worried, it's steel. Just come back here and put a small tack weld on either side or something. But we've run them on mud trucks, bouncing them around, 4-wheeling shit. I've never had one slide off. So, but that's it. There's a heater box if you know anybody looking for one. Heater, AC delete box. But that's it. Gotta clean this mess up when my boy's been out here working. Yeah, he built him a shelf and energy drink cans. There's his hat. Yep, that's it. Catch up later. Take care, everybody. Keep the videos coming. Bye.